Father, will bless you. Teach us your word in the name of Jesus. Today, the Lord will be teaching us on the topic that says effect of Judas' marital error, part 3. Effect of Judas' marital error, part 3. And our Bible text will be taken from Genesis chapter 38, from verse 19 downwards. After all that happened between Judah and Tamar, she went home and put off the prostitute clothes she was wearing. Then again she put on the widow's attire. In verse 20, Judah then told Ira, his friend, to go and give the young goat to her at the entrance of Enim, where they met, in order to collect his seal, cord, and staff. But unfortunately, he couldn't find her because she left immediately. When they asked the people of Enim for the prostitute that sat at the entrance, the people of the land said, "There is no prostitute sitting at that spot." Then when Ira returned with the young goat to tell Judah of how he couldn't find any prostitute, Judah said, "Well, let her keep those things so that people won't laugh at us. We try our best to play." He said, "Let her keep those things so that people won't laugh at us. We try our best to pay her, but she was the one who disappeared." Now, let us note something. Because Judah wanted to cover that sin, he let go of his seal, cord, and stick. The zeal can be likened to spiritual rank. The cord can be his connection or relationship with the Lord, and the stick can be the divine instruction from the Lord. The Lord leads us by his voice. David said, "Thy staff and thy rod comfort me." So that stick symbolizes divine instruction. So he left all these values just for one night stand. He didn't want people to laugh at him, but he is okay even when his relationship with the Lord will suffer. He didn't want people to laugh at him, so he was ready to let go of his intimacy with the Lord and his rank in God. Many of us have sacrificed so many valuables on the altars of sin. We lost our ministry because we wanted to enjoy ourselves briefly. We denied God, his word, and his promises because we wanted to blend with the world. Now in verse 24, a news came to Judah that Tamar have turned herself into a prostitute, because nobody expects a widow to be pregnant after the husband is dead, and she hasn't remarried. After 3 months, it was clear to the people around that Lady Tamar was pregnant, and in no time the news got to Judah, who was the father-in-law. When Judah heard this, he immediately passed judgment. "Take her out and burn her alive. Set her on fire immediately." He quickly made that pronouncement because if she dies, at least then her only son will marry in peace. It was due to Tamar that Judah delayed Sheila's marriage. Otherwise, I trust Judah, he would have gotten a wife for Sheila, since he was an expert in matchmaking. As she was about to be burnt to death, she quickly dropped the 3 items with her and said, "It is the man that owns this stick, cord, and seal that got me pregnant." When Judah saw this, he knew he was wrong and that he had wronged her. This was because he failed to give his son to her in marriage. If he had kept his promise of giving Sheila to Tamar, such act wouldn't have happened. So Judah had no choice than to marry her. But the Bible reveals that he never met with her as husband again. So that meeting, the only sex they had was that once, all through the life of Tamar. So that means if Tamar was don't worry. Now that means she will have only two sons all her life, because she gave birth to twins, 2 boys. The first one is called Perez, and the second one is called Zerah. Perez came out first, while Zerah followed. It seems that all the seeds that Judah had in his loins were males. When he married his wife, they had 3 children, which were 3 sons. After his wife's death, he met with Tamar, and she was also delivered of twins, 2 boys again. Watch how you live your life. Judah thought since his wife had died, he could enjoy himself with prostitutes. But unfortunately for him, the first woman he met was Tamar, his daughter-in-law. Sometimes when we choose to throw a stone into the market out of desperation, it may land on someone very close to us. That was how Tamar, who was supposed to marry a son, ended up marrying a father because she was desperate. Don't be too desperate. If you are desperate, you may get what you want, but you may not really enjoy it. Though finally she ended up getting pregnant, but Judah never touched her again except for that once till she died. Any wickedness you don't work on will definitely work on you. Tamar knew that the wickedness of Judah, any weakness you don't work on will definitely work on you. Tamar knew that the weakness of Judah was in the area of women. She knew that the death of Judah's wife would give him an opportunity to flirt around, so she trapped him with her body, her nakedness to be precise. Judah started by missing it in marriage because he chose to marry a Canaanite, and this made him raise a wicked seed. After this, it has been from one trouble to the other for him. If you miss it in marriage, it will take only the mercy of God for you to live a balanced life. All the problems Judah faced in his life started when he married wrongly. Because he married wrongly, his children became wicked seed. They were extremely wicked. And due to that, he buried his 2 sons while he was still alive. He slept with the wife of his son. Those kind of evil things happened because he married wrongly. Even his wife died before him. May you not marry wrongly in the name of Jesus.